How's it going, everybody? It's Young here with a Last of Us Part 2 news update. The following information comes directly from a PlayStation Experience 2016 panel, where game director Neil Druckmann and actors Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker took the stage to share some more information about the newly announced Last of Us Part 2. They didn't share too much, but offered some interesting background information that I think you'll be interested in. One of the things that Neil revealed was the theme of Last of Us 2. He said that if the first game is about the love between Joel and Ellie, and how that was built through story, music, interaction, gameplay, mechanics, etc., Part 2's story is the counter to that. It's about hate and how the team will be using the previously mentioned things, the story, music, interaction, gameplay, mechanics, etc., to make the player feel that hate. But this time through Ellie. That's right, folks, whereas Last of Us 1 starred Joel as the main character, Last of Us Part 2 will have players mainly playing as Ellie. I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few segments where you do get to play as Joel, but for the most part, it's going to be Ellie's story. Speaking of story, the game takes place a few years after the events of the first game. Neil detailed that Ellie is now 19, which places Part 2 around 4 to 5 years after the events of Part 1, considering she was 14 years old back then. He also added that the reason they named it Part 2 is because it's going to be a larger story and a complementary story to the first game, but the two together are going to tell a much larger tale. Neil also stated that he's well aware of doubts on continuing the story of Joel and Ellie after the ending of the first game, and asked the fans to trust him and his team, as he wouldn't be making a sequel if they weren't sure they could make something that will do right by the fans and tell another incredible story. Then, after Neil, Ashley, and Troy talked about their experiences in having worked on Last of Us 2 over the last 2.5 years or so in secrecy, the panel proceeded by showcasing the game's new performance capture technology, which transposes the actors' performances into the 3D models of their respective characters. Check it out.
So pretty.
Well, I mean, I think the detail is striking as far as the engine as well. You guys have updated that for Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, so this is by far, within Sony's group, this is the most advanced character model we've ever created. And just the way the flesh can move over the bone and the kind of subtlety we can get at the eyes. Like, we can never cut to a close-up of eyes before because we couldn't get the fidelity. Now we can.
So I think what's interesting, too, is that you can take these performances and bring them back to the workshop and meld them to create like the kind of the perfect scene, the direct a scene unlike you could ever do even in film.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's in film, like when you want to go between different takes, you have to have a cut in the middle. Here we could actually blend between different takes, so we could create a performance. Of course, there's a collaboration with the animators and the artists at Naughty Dog. They're definitely a part of putting all this together.
It's so crazy because this was a full day of just doing
nothing but
facial movements like this.
And it's weird because they ask you to do things like, I don't know if my face has ever done that before. It's like, can you make this sound? I'm like, I have no idea. We're going to find out. Yeah. But it's crazy because we spent hours on like just lip purses and stuff like that, or blinks or swallowing. And they would shoot it in like something like 150 or 200 frames a second just to get what your face looks like when you swallow, which is crazy to think that that video exists out in the world right now.
Oh, man.
And the memes begin.
After this showcase, the topic then shifted to gameplay, of which Neil couldn't say much. He did say, however, that Ellie is the star in Last of Us Part 2, that she plays differently from Joel, and mentioned that some things are evolutions while other things are reinventions. He finally reassured that there will be a gameplay reveal down the line. This was then followed by further conversation about the game's development process, after which the host eventually asked Neil and company about the game's music, at which point Neil confirmed that Last of Us Part 2's music will also be composed by Gustavo Santaolalla. He even brought with him a sample track of Last of Us Part 2 alongside some non-spoilery concept art to go along with it. Check it out.
We have it?
Whenever.
And that's pretty much it as far as game details go, but I highly recommend you watch the full panel when it eventually gets uploaded on the PlayStation YouTube channel. They offer some really cool and interesting insight regarding what it's like to make a game series like Last of Us. So with that, I would like to conclude this Last of Us Part 2 news update. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about the reveal trailer, and share with us any theories you have based on what you saw. And to be further updated on all things Last of Us, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!